Hi, this is Marcus, owner and managing director of SGS. We're a company specialized in automotive development, project management, and part sourcing internationally for big brands like BMW, Tier 1 suppliers, and motorsport companies like SSR. We are here today in our factory from our suppliers in China. And if you ask yourself, why those parts look so good? We give you today the answer, show you the complete process, how everything is made. So let's jump right in. First things first, in the production, you basically need to prepare the fabrics and also later for the layup. You see in the background here, we already have one worker who is finished now with the cutting by the machine. You basically start with a big roll, you lay it up, you cut it in the right shapes, and later on, you then use it for the layup process, like I said. And basically on the left, the computer with the different shapes and different sizes. According to each part, there's always a specific layup needed and also specific sizes needed. Here you see some leftover stuff which we have, and basic normal process what they use here. Also, the complete room is a little bit cooled down to keep us normal temperature. And then next step is to then go into the layup area where for each part, the specific parts are laid up then. We always use kind of two toolings, which would be steel tooling and aluminum tooling. So we don't use any areola or something. You see here in the background, he's already preparing the second side of the tooling. Then they screw it up once they have everything laid up according to the layup plan. Also, we have here a special tooling out of steel. Also, you have here on the inside a special foam to give it a little bit more structure also. And then, like you see here, we have here a lot of toolings ongoing. Also in the back, a lot of parts are prepared. It looks now a little bit chaotic because we have so many orders ongoing. Every worker has his own tooling and also needs to follow up the process to really guarantee that we have in the next step then okay parts. The next step would be then also the autoclave process, which we double check right now. Once the parts are ready and already have the vacuum on it, those vacuum bags together with the tooling will be put into the autoclave here. Then they heat it up, they do the complete injection of the resin. Once those happen, you get the parts out of the autoclave. Those guys are currently removing the toolings, which means they get the raw shells out. Then the next would be that those raw shells will be checked. If you have some deformations, if the pattern is not aligned correctly, then they throw it directly away. Otherwise, those raw shells go into the next process, which would be the grinding process. This is how the part look like after tooling directly. You can see here some additional material which needs to be removed with those grinders. And then the next step is the quality checking then. And once the quality is okay, they ship it out for the next step. You see here some areas are really rough. Most of the time we use a CNC machine, a CNC robot, which is removing the edges very precise, which is needed for some certain parts, but most of them will be also optimized by hand. And they have here all the stuff which they need. It looks super rough here since this supplier here is basically on capacity limit right now, and they will move on to a new building to also have more space and also better looking equipment, let's call it, so they really can improve also here a little bit. Since a lot of Chinese suppliers push to produce as much as possible, also as fast as possible, we have the agreement and also we ensure with our suppliers that quality is more important than quantity. So every step they really need to take care of the parts, because if they remove too much or if they say, okay, this is okay, we can use that, it's basically not helping us in the end or also the customer if we send out parts which are not okay. Therefore, we really take care that also all of our suppliers understand these requirements from our side. And sometimes it's a little bit hard to explain them how the European thinking is about some issues and some problems. But basically, the more we do with each other, the easier it gets. And luckily from our side, we have already this process behind us. So every supplier we work with is basically aware of all of our requirements, which are very high, which are basically European standard requirements. And once they understand it, and also once the first parts have been produced, it's for them super easy to keep the standard of the quality. Also, from my side, I want always to have the same guys doing the same stuff, so we don't have any issues later on, so that they get really used to the parts and they really avoid the quality topics later on. What you see here is the quality checking room, and I would say the final process room. So once parts come back from the painting supplier, they get back here, will be checked if there are some defects on it, if they need to re-drill some holes or need to recut some areas with the knives. Then they basically adjust everything, bring back all stuff to normal. If we have some quality defects here, the parts will be sorted out and destroyed to avoid that they are still in the process. What you see there are some intake system for a car engine. It's great to see also how they work here. They do an amazing job, and yeah, that's how basically the final step before sending out to customer looks like. Check the parts, do some smaller modifications, some smaller optimizations. If the parts are not okay, throw them away to avoid any issues.